All right, second grade. What kind of syllable were we talking about earlier today? The one with the vowel at the end? Very good, an open syllable. And in the open syllable, the vowel usually says it's what? Very good, it's name. We're going to go back to that chart later, but first we're going to review some phonograms that we had learned before. All right, the first one is O, the O of boat. What are you going to write? Good. O, the O of boat. So say it while you write it. And if you don't remember, just draw a line below the baseline. All right, class. This is our O, the O of boat. So if you didn't have that, or you had something else, I want you to write this 3 times, saying while you write it, O, the O of boat. All right, we'll do our other O next, and that is O, the O of toe. What are you going to write? Very good. O, the O of toe. So write it and say it while you write it. So remember, we always leave a clock space if our phonogram is 2 or more letters. O, the O of toe. All right, so if you didn't have that, pause the video, write it 3 times, saying it while you write it. All right, the next phonogram is V. All right, one more time. V. Say it while you write it. All right, class, this is our V. Right, so if you didn't have that, pause the video, write it 3 times, saying the sounds while you write it. All right, our next phonogram is A, 2-letter A, that we do use at the end of English words. What are you going to write? Very good. A, 2-letter A, that we do use at the end of English words. So say it while you write it. All right, class, what phonogram did you just write? Very good. A, 2-letter A, that we do use at the end of English words. Our A, 2-letter A, that we do use at the end of English words. So if you didn't have this, pause the video, write it 3 times, saying it while you write it. That's how you're going to get it next time, is if you're saying it while you write it and your brain is forming all those connections. All right, our last review phonogram is A, 2-letter A, that we do not use at the end of English words. What are you going to write? Excellent, write it and say it while you write it. All right, so remember, our A's go together because they make the same sound. We just use one where we can't use the other. So I'll put the other one close to this one to help you remember. This is our A, 2-letter A, that we do not use at the end of English words. Class, why don't we use that at the end of English words? Very good, because English words do not end with I. They sure don't. So if you didn't have this, write it 3 times and say it while you write it. All right, now we are going to learn our new phonogram class. We only have 3 to learn tomorrow, and then after tomorrow, we'll know 55 phonograms. There's only 72 altogether. And so the first 55 is kind of the biggest chunk, and we use them all the time. And then the other ones, not quite so much, right? So I hope we're working really hard because I cannot wait for us to have all these 55 memorized, and we'll be reading and spelling like champions. All right, so this is the last one for today, and then just 3 more tomorrow, and we'll know 55 if you know all of them. All right, this is our next phonogram, and I want you to listen carefully to the way that I say it. All right, sometimes students want to pronounce both of these letters, but remember the thing about a phonogram is that it makes a different sound with the letters together than they would make by itself. This one is a really great example of that, right? We see this and we don't say right? That would be each phonogram by itself. The line lets us, or each letter by itself. The line says this is a team. They work together and they do something different when they're together than when they're separate. So this one is a phonogram. They're a team. They work together. So instead of saying each sound by themselves, they say I want you to say that with me. All right, and you notice that that's different from the way that this, let me say just this for you. Do you see that my teeth are together? Now listen to me, or watch me say this one. Are my teeth together? They're not. And so that's the effect that this second one has on this first one. Instead of it being closed and small like it's more open. All right, so say that with me. All right, now by yourself. Good. You can even later on try saying this in a mirror and watch yourself say it and see, oh, it looks so different when I say and even though the sound isn't super different. All right, but it does look different. So actually, yeah, try that out in the mirror later on. All right, so to write my I find my starting spot for the first letter, and then my second one is close but not touching. Then I underline it. All right. So get ready to write your All right, write it and say it while you write it. All right, make sure your looks like mine. Yeah. And next time you're in the mirror, practice saying it. Try say and look how they're different. All right. So I want you to write your again, saying it while you write it. All right, make sure it looks like this. And we'll write it one more time, saying it while we write it. All right, great work with that, class. That's all the new phonograms we're learning today. Let's go back to our, what kind of syllables were we working on? Very good, our open syllables. All right, so for this vowel, what's this vowel? Its 3 sounds are a, ah. In an open syllable, it says its name, which is what? Good, it says a. All right, let's go down to our next vowel. What are the sounds of this vowel? Good, e. I always think this one's the easiest because it has the smallest number of sounds. All right, let's write a word where we have our e in an open syllable, which would make it say it's what? Very good, it's name. when it's in an open syllable. And I'll just erase this so it's not distracting you or me. All right, we're going to write, let's see, most of the little words that have an open syllable with this we've already written, but that's okay. We'll just keep, let's see, let's write, I don't remember if we wrote this one or not, but that's okay. We're going to write the word she. She. What sounds do we hear in the word she? Good, our sounds are sh, e. Remember, we need 2 letters to make that sh. And then our e is e. But what lets it say e? Excellent, it's an open syllable. So write she and say the sounds while you write them. All right, class, what do I need to write to spell she? Good, sh. And good, e. And what lets my e say e? Very good, it's an open syllable. So in an open syllable, this is going to say it's what? Very good, it's going to say its name, which is, exactly, its name is e. All right, we've got our word written up here. Make sure yours looks like mine. And let's go ahead and mark it. Does this need a marking? It sure does, because those 2 letters work together to make that sound. And how about this? Good, we underline it because it's saying its name. And why is it saying its name? Very good, it's an open syllable. All right, now let's read our word that we wrote. Very good, it's sh, e, she. All right, now let's go down to our, which vowel is this? All right, and it's 3 sounds. Good, ah, o, oo. Okay. So we are going to write the word open. Right? Let's see, please open the door. Quietly, open. How many, so before we write open, we need to go over something that's funny, and I call it a 2-way word. That is a word where to spell it correctly, we say it a different way. So when we're talking, we would still say, so open is an example. If I'm talking, I'm still gonna say open. But to spell it, I'm gonna say it a little differently. One of my favorite examples of this, the only one that I learned about when I was a kid, is the word Wednesday, right? The middle day of our school week and our week, Wednesday. But my mom taught me when I was a kid that to spell Wednesday correctly, I have to say Wednesday. So that's the only 2-way word I'd heard about before I came to Hojo. But now I know lots and lots of different 2-way words, and one of them is open. Well, the thing is, sometimes we pronounce it a little bit carelessly, and even I'm guilty of that, so we want to make sure we pronounce it really correctly. And so sometimes we consider that a 2-way word. So to spell open, I would say open. How do we say open to spell it? Good, open. So that second syllable sounds a little differently. All right, how many syllables are in open? So say it and show me. I hope you got what I got. There are 2 syllables in open. All right, our first syllable is O. What sounds do we hear in the syllable O? Just that one sound, O, right? And it's our A-O-U. What's letting our A-O-U say O here? Excellent, it's an open syllable. All right, let's see if we can write this whole word at once. The second syllable is pen. What sounds do you hear in the syllable pen? Good, in our second syllable pen, it's p, e, n. All right, so what are we going to write all together to spell open? Good, O in a in an open syllable. Good. And then what's next? Good. P, e, n. And we want to remember to put our syllable mark right here. All right, so write open and say the sounds while you write them. All right, when you're finished, put your pencil down, and then you can tell me what to write. Class, what do I need to write to spell open? Good, O. And what's saying O? Good, it's my A-O-U. And what lets my A-O-U say O? Very good, it's an open syllable. All right, what's next in my next syllable, pen? Good. Good. All right, so make sure your O pen looks like mine. And now let's mark it. Does this need a marking? It sure does, right? It's an open syllable. It's saying its name. We have to underline it so we know it's saying its name. How about this? Does this need a marking? No. All right, so let's read the word that we just wrote, and we're going to read it just the way it looks. So, good. It's O, P, E, N, open. But when we're speaking, we often say open, open. So what we do when we have a two-way word is we put what we call a little thinking cap on top of the letter that we pronounce a little differently. All right, so open, open. Which phonogram do you think is going to get our thinking cap? All right, if you said e, you are just right. It is usually our vowels that change in our two-way words. So I wanted us to remember two-way words and how they work, or learn about two-way words and how they work. So this one, to spell it, we say open. But when we're speaking, we say open, open. All right, so we have our O in open is an open syllable. All right. Now, so we're almost done with our more consistent vowels. Let's remind ourselves of the rule for our more consistent vowels. I'll say it with me if you remember. A, E, O, and U usually say A, E, O, U, or U at the end of a syllable. All right, so we'll come back and finish up with our U, U, a little later.